All right, thank you all for coming. Welcome to the November Development Update webinar. My name is Cody Zimmer, and with me is
Kent Mullaney.
we're excited to share with you guys some of the fantastic updates to the Duda platform and Duda One that we've made this November.
Yeah, we got a pretty big update here. I think we kind of want to dive in. Before we get just started, though, like always, if you guys have questions, feel free to submit them using the questions box. We will occasionally check in, but most likely save the questions till the end. Unfortunately, we just due to the volume of things we have to cover today, we want to make sure we get through all of them before we start diving into the questions. So keep the questions coming throughout the webinar. We will have time for Q&A at the end.
Also, I'd like to remind you guys that this webinar is being recorded, and it will be posted to the partner portal. And anyone who's registered, if you registered for this webinar, then you will receive a link to the recording in the follow-up email tomorrow. So you will have access to that as well.
Great. Let's hit the agenda.
All right. If I can get PowerPoint to cooperate, that'd be fantastic. There we go. So the first thing we're going to cover today is we're going to go over, well, there's a lot of improvements, but the first one is some dashboard improvements, right?
Yep, the UI needed a little touch up here. We're putting more and more controls at your fingertips. We also have creating and saving templates. Feature has been requested for quite some time now.
Right. I'm pretty excited about this one. A lot of you have asked for it. We've also got just general improvements to the editor. We've got some updates to some existing features that we have, like Insight and e-commerce.
Yep. And then we have a preview of the new flexible header. It is currently scheduled to come out next week, but we wanted to go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek at exactly what this thing looked like so you can get excited for it, because I know we have been.
Yeah, and then as soon as it comes out, you can start using it right away. And then, of course, like Kent mentioned, we'll save some time for Q&A at the end.
Great.
So if that works for everybody, let's go ahead and pop right into the demo, huh?
Great. So, we've really been adding a lot more features into the dashboard view. We wanted to make sure that we're able to give you the right way, the right user interface for accessing that. So you'll notice here we've condensed in the site actions down into preview and edit, and then a list of more. This more list is designed so that it will give you a drop down with options here. We'll see things like duplicate site, share, save as template, which we'll cover a little more. The ability to add users and reset. And there's a couple other things that will pop in and out of here. We'll show you what those look like coming up. But just in case we've logged in and noticed these differences, everything's still there. Actually, everything's there with a little more. And you'll be able to access all the tools you've had access to before right there.
Yeah, pretty cool. So it should make it a little cleaner and easier for everybody.
Great. Let's go great. Let's get into the templates. Let's get into the fun stuff.
Okay, so let's start this over just like from scratch. So let's go ahead and click Create a Responsive Website, like we're creating something new. And you're probably pretty familiar with this templates page, all the different tabs you can organize by type of template. And yes, we do have lots of new templates in here, but we can click on My Templates. This is a new option. And you can see I already have a few in here, which I had from yesterday. I was playing around. But you'll actually start with just create a new template. And this is where your personalized, customized templates that you've saved will live, is in this My Templates folder here, this My Templates section. And to create a new template, just click Create a New Template. And then you can actually start from any template that we currently have. And what you're going to do is choose an existing template that we have, and then customize it, and then save it as your own. Because you have to start from an existing template, right? So let's go ahead and start with Sky Patrol. So I'll go ahead and click Customize.
You'll notice right away there's some differences here when you're in the template editing mode, right? Mm-hmm. There's no start from template, it's Customize. And then the first thing you're prompted with, once you do choose to customize, is to create a new name for that template.
Right, so let's call this Webinar Template. And let's go ahead and click Create. And this will actually take us into what looks like the editor, but it's not really the editor. It's what's called template mode. It's a new function of the editor, which lets you make changes and then save them to a template rather than to a published website.
Right. The main difference being you're not going to be publishing from here. And you'll notice right away in the upper right-hand corner, as opposed to a publish button, you've got a done button and a notification that you are in template mode editing this template.
All right, so let's go ahead and just take a look around. If we scroll down, this is what our template looks like right off the bat. You can see we have all the same options. You're basically using the Duda editor to create a template, which makes it really easy to do. So let's go ahead and make some changes here. So one of the first ones I'll make, let me go into design and let's customize the color palette for this site. So instead of the header background being red, let's go ahead and choose like a nice blue color. Go ahead and pick that for the header background. So now it's a blue, and let's go ahead and customize our navigation a little bit. We need to change that selected page background color to something else. Let's just choose like a gray for now. That'll work. So now we've changed the color of our template a little bit. Maybe we want to do something else, like maybe we want to increase the size of this border around this CTA here. So I'll click on it, I'll go to Edit Design, and I'll just increase the border size a bit here so it's obvious that this is something I've customized. And let's also change the background of the row. Let's go up to the row menu, background, and let's just replace this background image with something else.
I think we've got a nice cityscape view or something like that.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah, city skyline. How about that? That looks nice.
Cool.
And now let's also clean up the rest of the template. If we scroll down, we can see we have other rows in here. And these images belong to the other template. So let's just go ahead and delete some of these here that we don't need. Maybe we don't need this background here. And you can see I'm going through and I'm customizing it, but I'm not really making changes that are content specific to any individual site. I'm just kind of cleaning up what I want to start with when I start building a site from this template. And I've changed the design and a little bit of background and colors so I can easily start over with a different site. Any other changes you make?
Yeah, let's stick with that and let's save that one.
Okay, so let's go ahead and click Done. And when we do click Done, now you can see this will be added to our My Templates area. And the preview will be available in just a minute. And as we mouse over, you can see we now have the option to start a new website from this template, or we can preview it. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's click Preview. And this will open up the sort of template preview tool that you're already familiar with, where we can take a look at what our template looks like on all the different devices and see if we want to start building with it. And if we do, we can click Create Site, or we can just go back to the template selector. And you can see now we've got a little preview of it here. I can go ahead and edit it because this is one of my templates. This isn't a standard Duda template, so I can go ahead and pop back in and make changes to it if I want to, or I can start a new website with it. Now, it's important to note, when you click Start and you start a new website with one of your templates, you won't have the option to automatically import content from a third-party website, from an external website. You're just starting from scratch. Mm-hmm. But you can still import content once you're inside the editor into the content library, and then go ahead and plug and play your content from there.
Nice, easy way to help update. Yeah, it doesn't allow you to start from an existing site. Right? One of the few limitations right now. Mm-hmm. We have a lot more features coming out, hopefully around this create template functionality that we'll have in subsequent releases. But for now, we're really happy with where we started, and we'll take it from here.
Yeah. All right. One other thing I wanted to note about this. So this is it. I'm in the editor. I'm looking at my site. I can edit it, of course. Let me go back to the dashboard real quick. And so you can create a new template from scratch, just like I did right there. But you can also go to any site on your dashboard, and I can click on More, and I can save any current site I have as a template. And you can do that right from that More section, like Kemp was talking about earlier. We've added a few new features in here. So you can save any of your current sites, any of your current designs on Duda One can be saved as templates.
Sounds good to me. Let's open up a site here and talk about a couple of the other improvements we've made. One of them is basically to the image selector. When you're going through a site and making changes, like you want to pick from your uploaded image gallery, we've made it so that choice is persistent, meaning if you go back to upload another picture at a later date, you'll go right back into the same section of the image picker. We know this has been a requested feature. It makes selecting images a lot smoother, a lot easier. So, don't worry. We're trying to make it so that it's as easy as possible for you to select images. So if we were to go in and replace from, the gallery or uploaded or images from the site, we'll make that your default preference for the next time you come back into the image picker. Also, there's been some general improvements to the image picker, hopefully making it easier for you to find what you're looking for so it loads faster, things along those lines. Mm-hmm. Right? Also, and this has been a big request, we've edited the font selection. We now have over 30 fonts in the platform. Fonts that weren't there previously are now available. We have a full list of these that we'll be posting to the support portal soon. But Fonts, if they exist in a template, now exist in the editor for you to choose from. And again, I think we're at over 30 different fonts at this time for you to pick from. We'll have more information on a detailed list coming out real soon.
Yeah, I think we added about 30 fonts, so we're well over 30. So that's just new to this release. So, fantastic.
Great.
So let's talk about another editor improvement that I'm really excited about, which is about e-commerce. So I'm going to actually take myself out of this template here. Let's go into one that has a store in it. So I've got an e-commerce site right here. So let's go ahead and edit this.
Yeah, e-commerce has been a pretty successful launch for us. We've seen a lot of interest, a bunch of new sites being created with these stores. Really happy with the performance so far.
I love it. Personally, I'm really happy with our e-commerce integration. It really works. It's a brilliant part of Duda. Okay, I was playing with the blog template earlier. Let's get rid of that route. There we go. Okay, so here's a store I've got. You can see I've got a product here, or I'm just mentioning a product. This is on sale. I've got a dude figurine, and I've got a paragraph about it and a button. We have added a new feature, which is the ability to link directly to a specific product from within the editor. And so you can do that from anywhere that you could create a link before, whether it's a text link or a button, the navigation even. So let me show you how to do that. Let's go over to this button here, and I can click. Right now it says Learn More. So let's go ahead and edit that button. And instead of Learn More, how about let's do Shop Now or something like that. And you can see we have the new option to link to a product or a category. And so if you do have an e-commerce store set up, as soon as you start typing in here, you can see that we'll list the different categories your store has. So you can link directly to a category or to a specific product, or you could actually type it out, and we'll go ahead and filter your search results here instantly, so you can choose the product you want to link to. And then we'll go ahead and click Done. And let's go ahead and see what that'll look like. Let me preview this. So now when I click this button, it'll take me directly to that product page.
It's a great merchandising tool. If you're working with a commerce shop that wants to feature a couple of either on sale items or top sellers right on the home page, you can do that now and link directly to that product page within the commerce between the e-commerce storefront. So really trying to make it easier for you to promote what's important to your clients.
Yeah, like a great way to promote that would be through like an insight, right? So let's actually do that. Let me go back to my home page here real quick.
Yeah. Insights are a great way to communicate specials or offers, or a way to direct your users to specific content on the site.
So let's go ahead and let's create a new insight. And you guys may have noticed that we've added like 20 new insights, right?
Yeah, we'll cover those in just a minute.
So, I mean, there's a lot of new stuff in here. So let's go ahead and let's just build our own insight real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say that this figurine, this product's on sale. So we're going to want to do it at a specific time. So we'll choose time as our trigger, and let's say this is for like a weekend sale that we're going to do. So let's go ahead and let's change our date here for this. Let's say this is going to start on Saturday, and let's go ahead and say it's going to end on Sunday the 9th. Okay? So let's preview that in the calendar. We can see that's going to be Saturday and Sunday. Looks great. So for this weekend sale, let's do a notification bar. So let's go ahead and choose that. And we'll just type up at the top here, the dude is on sale, man. Get 50% off now. And let's go ahead and let's make that one a link. So let's go ahead and click to make that a link. And again, we can just link to a product or category, and we'll link to the dude. And go ahead and add that in there. And let's go ahead and click next. Let's go ahead and save the insight. Oh, did I?
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and preview our site here. And let's select it from the drop down. I think I called it Build Your Own Insight 2. I should have chose a name.
So now for next weekend, or this coming weekend, anyone who comes to the site is going to get the notification bar, and it'll take them straight to the page to purchase the dude.
Right, exactly. So that can be a great way to link to any particular product. So you can start to think about ways that you can link specifically or to specific products from Insights. And also you'll notice the product page, we now actually have the title in there that was missing before, but it has been added back in if you were asking about it before.
Great. Cool. So pretty psyched about that. Let's jump back into the Insight Editor and start talking about some of these new insights that Cody referenced before. You, as on our email list, should have received an email today about our new holiday promotion. We're going to have a whole webinar next week dedicated just to that, but we wanted to go ahead and cover some of the updates we've got in there now, including some of these insights that are very specific. If we look at holiday greetings, we have this capability of basically creating some sort of a notification whenever someone comes to your site for the holidays. We also have insights dedicated to Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday. Really good for you folks that work for the small business industry that want to really try to create something that's designed to help drive more traffic or more business during these special shopping days. Also under the list, you'll notice we have some Christmas and New Year's promotions as well. And then we get back into the list of the ones you guys are pretty familiar with, returning visitor, first-time visitor, off hours, campaign, etc. Under a lot of these, I suggest you go and explore a little bit. As you'll notice here, under some of these, like Christmas, we not only have one, but we actually have 5 insights, sub-related insights within that group. So go check them out, play around with them. We're finding one of the other features of our next webinar is a real-world success story using Insight, how a restaurant was able to generate a lot of new business by simply using Insight to promote certain offers and certain special deals. So we'll have all of that in next week's webinar. But for now, go ahead and check out what we've got for Insights and take a look. Cody, there are a couple of specifics in here, right, that you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's actually some new features on the trigger action. Let's go ahead and build our own insights. We can go. There's a new trigger option and a new action I'm really excited to share with you guys about. It's a bit more technical, but so let's go ahead and choose a campaign URL for a trigger. And this option is only for the campaign URL. And that is we've added the option to control the cookie expiration. So as you know, the campaign URL is, let's say you want to show a special insight to someone coming from a URL you chose. So you choose a parameter. Let's say we put category equals PPC as a URL argument. And that's just how we're going to identify when someone comes to kempsite.com/category equals PPC. It's going to display this insight. And this is something you'd use inside a PPC campaign or something like that to show something specific to those users. And the way we do that is through a cookie. Once someone has come to that URL, maybe they leave the site and they come back to kempsite.com, but they forget to put in the argument because they're not clicking the link again, we can still show them that same insight because we're tracking them now with a cookie. And so we actually give you control to choose how long that cookie is valid for, whether it's just the current browsing session of that user or after a certain number of days, or to not use a cookie at all. It's up to you how you want to track and display that insight to them. So this is a really granular, really fine level of control that we're giving you guys.
Yeah. For all you PPC experts out there, I think you'll see the value pretty quickly. If you wanted to make sure that anyone who came from a certain traffic source saw an offer, and that offer stayed relevant or stayed persistent on that site for X number of days, it'd be easy for you to do that here.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're doing some kind of retargeting and you just they just come back to your site. So it is a really cool option. So let's go ahead and let's just say that we just want to leave it for the session. Let's go ahead and click next. We have a brand new action, which I'm really excited about, which is the JavaScript action. And what this will do will actually execute some JavaScript code upon the activation of the insight. So let's go ahead and click next. So let's start off with a basic example here. So you can actually use any JavaScript that you want. So I'm going to just do a basic alert, and I'm just going to say, special offers today, check them out, or just some sort of basic alert message. And if we go to preview the insight, you'll see that this alert is executed upon that. So you can actually write in your own custom code. It can be whatever you'd like inside of here. So a better example or more complex example would be, let's say you want to do something interesting like change a phone number based on when someone's coming through that URL.
Yeah, dynamic number serving is a pretty popular technique for some from some advertisers. They want to, if the traffic comes from a certain source, they want to direct them to one phone number, whereas if the traffic would just say organic, they might get a second phone number.
Right. So we actually have a function pre-built in for that. It's DM API dot, let's see, I think it's replace phone number. And then there's two arguments that you add into that. The first one will be the existing phone number that you want to replace. The second parameter that you're going to pass in there is going to be the new number that you want to replace it with. So the first one, let's just write the number as 123 456 7891. And that'll be and then the new phone number we want to add in there is, let's say 555 555 1212. So let's go ahead and add that in. And let's just, for now, let's go ahead and save this insight. Oh man, I didn't even name it something new. Let me change the name of that real quick. This is really bad practice. I'm going to rename this phone number replace. There we go. So do we have any phone numbers in our site here? We really should have put one in here. Let's go ahead and let's just add a new element in here with a phone number. So let's say we want to add just
click to call.
It doesn't even have to be a click to call. It can be anything inside the site. So like if I added a basic title, let me add a small title just up here. And I can also add a click to call. So let's do both of them actually. That's a good idea. So let's do a new title. And inside this, let's just put that original phone number, 123 456 7 8 9 10, right? So let's go ahead and put that in there. Let's go ahead and add in a new column to our row. And let's go ahead and also add in a click to call. So we'll do both. Give it just a second here. And we'll go ahead and put that number in. So again, that number is 123 456 7891. And it could be any number. I'm just using this because this is the number I entered into the JavaScript. So let's go ahead and click done. Great, so now we've got our phone number here and a click to call button. Let's go ahead and preview it. And let's say I'm going to select the Insight phone number replace. It's going to execute the JavaScript, and you can see it's been replaced with a new phone number. And it's both in the click to call button. If I click on that, it'll show you it's got the new phone number where it's linking to, and in the text on the page. So you're really replacing that phone number anywhere it appears on the page with using that function. So it's a fantastic one to use. So let's go back to our editor here, but you can add any custom JavaScript that you can create. The sky's the limit with this. You guys can really execute anything and really take your sites to a new level.
Yeah, pretty sharp tool. We know we've had a lot of requests for that too. If we jump back to the dashboard, we do have a new template this month. It's our first commerce-focused template. And that's not to say that you can't use any of the templates we already had for running a shop, but we did create one that we thought was much more centered around merchandising and the tool sets and the structure that a real commerce site would want. And this one is a Scarlet Shop. And you'll see here we've got some nice new graphics included as well. Go through, take a look at this template, and perhaps some of you guys have a client out there you think is ready for a new commerce site that could use this template.
And there will be more e-commerce templates.
Oh, yes. Yes.
This is the first.
Great. So next up, Cody, we got some product categories for store settings.
This one's really cool. So let's go back to our, actually we want to go back to our shop there. Let's go back to our dashboard. Let's open up my little dude shop. Let's go back in here. Let's go hit this. So we have the option, you notice when this pops up, we have the menu navigation up at the top, and we have a few different pages like home, about us, contact, all the normal ones. And we also have a store page. And when I click on this, it's going to take me directly to my e-commerce store, which, is what you'd expect it to do, and that's totally fine. But we also have the option now if you go to e-commerce store, we have added a few store settings to the sidebar where you can choose to add category links as sub-navigation. So you can see I have these two categories, extras and suites. So when I turn this on, it will add those as sub-navigation to the store tab. Let me go ahead and preview this. It would be a better way to show it. Actually outside the editor. So when I mouse over this, you can see those have been added as drop-downs, so I can go directly to one of the categories. I can click on suites, for example, and just go directly to the category and windows.
Yeah, this is a great product. It helps your users, helps the end users find exactly what they're looking for faster. Mm-hmm. If they already know what category they're looking for, they can jump straight to it. It's a real nice enhancement to the UI. Mm-hmm. Stats, another good category. Yeah. We've had a lot of we've had a long-standing effort to provide stats as best we could to our partners. And we've made some massive enhancements now. And Cody, you want to kind of go through exactly what those look like so people understand?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really show anything on the screen, but I will explain kind of what we've done and how it works. So if you're familiar with Duda's analytics and stats, you know that we've been using Google Analytics' API to track stats on websites on Duda and then report those to you through the Duda Analytics dashboard. So we've actually integrated a new option. We went with a different open source tracking structure platform called Snowball. And now you have the option to choose whether you want to continue to have your stats being tracked using the Google Analytics API or to switch over to our new in-house open source method, Snowball, which is not sampled, and it's going to be much more detailed statistics. The end result is just changing the method that Duda will use to track your website's analytics and display in the Duda dashboard. This won't affect whether you're already using Google Analytics, your own Google Analytics account, and you've added Google Analytics code to your site and you're tracking it separately through your own dashboard. This will not affect that. You can continue to do that. It does not stop you from using Google Analytics on your own in any way. It just changes how it affects what displays within Duda. And you'll have the choice. You should be prompted next time you log into your stats overview section, whether you want to use Snowball or Google Analytics. You get to choose the source that Duda will use to track your stats.
Yeah, no more sampled.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's going to be much more accurate, and we're real excited about this.
We're running it all ourselves.
Yeah,
and it's working and it's working well.
Mm-hmm. But again, doesn't prevent you from still using Google Analytics if you want, nor does it prevent you from using any third-party analytics with access to the header footer of the site, so you can actually put those codes in yourself.
Exactly.
All right, let's get to the new flexible header. This has been a request for quite some time. And again, it's unfortunately we needed some last-minute polishing before it was ready to come out, before it was ready for prime time. But I'm going to start with this example. We're going to use the Amelie site and give you a quick preview of what this is going to look like. This will give you a good idea about what's going to be capable now within the header of Duda One sites. Now, basically, what we're going to be able to do is take an area that was previously somewhat constrained, by its functionality and what can be displayed there. And we're going to start to show how you can create more of a row out of this section of the site. So this is all under the Design tab, I believe, under Header section. And you'll see this, again, sometime next week we'll make a release. We'll publish to the Facebook page when it's ready to go. Basically, you're going to click Turn Header into a Row. And what this does is it basically takes the header and breaks it into your navigation and another section. So now we can go and start to do some fun things when it comes to editing this. Now you can see I have a row here and the navigation row below it. So right off the bat, we can go and start to do some fun things where we add a second column to the row. I can go in and change some alignment issues here with the logo. We could then go in and add some elements. Like say we wanted to add a click to call button or something like that here up to the Amelie photography row. We can go in then and design this a little bit. Maybe we want to make it so that the background is a white. We'll set up a border color that's dark. And we'll change our text color as well so that the text style is now a darker color as well to match. So now we've got a new call us function right here at the top of the page. Oops. We're not going to change the number. We could also go and add some other tools in here. We also provide social media icons through the service. You could add these back as well. And we could add now the more colorful or the more, went a little farther. We could then add added a new row. Let's quickly add that. Okay, let me add these in here real quick with test, test, test. And we'll add one more for good measure. Test. There we go.
Change the style. Or?
We can go in and change the design just a little bit. Maybe we make them our just the ones that float without anything on them. Click done. Now I'm going to move this and I'm going to drag it back down to where I want it to be here, just next to the call us function. There we go. Oops. Having a little issue here. Sorry, folks. Let me get this out.
I think you got it that time.
There we go. So now what we've done is we've actually tailored our user interface now, and we can go through and we can move items just like we would through other abilities. But you can imagine you can now put all sorts of new information up here. If you want to have call us functionality, you can add that. If you wanted to add images, or even an image slider into your header, if that's capable. Another thing that's really impressive with this, that will help out a lot of folks, is now under the managed pages, if you want to have more pages, you can do that right here by adding more pages, and you'll have more width of the screen to use. And we can go and add a couple of new pages here. This page 1, page 2, and we can even add a page 3 in here. And what we'll see is, once we go back and edit our navigation, is we've got more space for us to be able to really show more information. Oops. Page 3, add page. Another thing we can do is we can actually change the color of the navigation, really make it stand out. Let me go back up here. Now you see here we still have the more option. I'm going to navigate back to our home page. I'm going to go now back to design, and we're going to look at our navigation. I'm going to click on customize navigation. And we're going to say I don't want to display floor, I want to display all items. So we've now got much more space for navigation. And we can go in here and it has a lot of fun here. We can add the row, we can take the row background and say, make it a color so it looks like a bar across the top of the screen. Go back to general, close that out, and now we want to go into our navigation itself.
This is pretty incredible, actually, because the navigation is now its own element. It has its own options, the navigation links, which you never had before.
Exactly. And now we've got this ability to go in, really tailor exactly what it's going to look like, come up with some fun designs, things our customers may want more, really get you the ability to take a much stronger look and feel to the header of the site.
It's really cool. And one thing I do want to point out, and just so you guys can be aware of this, this navigation links, since it is an element, you can move this around, and you're not limited to keeping it in that header row. You can actually bring these navigation links down into the body of your site if you want to. And they are responsive. So if we go ahead and add a new column, let's say to this page row right here, let's go ahead and move these guys over here. Drag and drop them in here. Let's see if we can make this row a little smaller. You can see they actually start to stack on top of each other. So there's a lot of interesting things you guys can do with this, with these links the way that they are. So I don't recommend leaving it like this, but I did want to show you that you do have the ability to pull them out of the header, to stack them, to put them in other parts of the page and on the site. So you do retain all the flexibility. And we'll bring them right back down in there.
I like the way I built it better.
You build the best looking site.
We do have fun playing with our own product here. It's kind of one of the more enjoyable places. One of the real enjoyable things here is that we do get to use the product and the newest versions very, very early. So we have a lot of fun using them, setting them up
Yeah.
just right.
Don't let him fool you. Kemp is particularly talented at building sites. He really is. I think there's one other thing I forgot to mention earlier that I would like to mention. So let's go back to the dashboard, actually. Part of the new functionality that Kemp had mentioned from that More button, if we go
to our store.
To our store site, which is now no longer on the front page. Let's go to the next page. If I click More, I can go ahead and manage my store right from the dashboard. I can click Manage Store right from that More options, and it'll take me right into the control panel of my e-commerce store, where I can go ahead and add products, I can manage orders, sales, add promotions, change settings, whatever, and then I can close it and go right back to my dashboard.
Yeah, huge time saver for those of you managing stores on behalf of your customers. Just being able to go straight into that store control panel as opposed to open site, clicking on commerce, clicking on admin settings. Exactly. This is you just need to make a quick update to taxes or shipping. You can do that right here. It's a great way for you to be able to really. It's just a time saver.
Yeah, there's no need to load the entire website editor. You just need to change a product price.
Okay. That's it for the dev update. Before we get to the Q&A, though, really wanted to say the holiday landing page that we just sent out via email to you guys, also we'll put it up on the Facebook page. This is a special single landing page designed to dynamically change using insights for all the upcoming holidays. Also included in that landing page, free assets for partners, including an icon set and a free ebook on how to promote and sell insights. So all of that should have been delivered to you guys via email. Again, we'll put it up on Facebook as well, but we'll have a dedicated webinar to go over everything on that 1 week from today.
Yeah.
And we'll also have in that webinar the real life case study of a restaurant that's using insights and seeing a pretty dramatic increase in sales because of it.
It's pretty killer. You don't want to miss this story. This guy's really killing it with insight.
So with that, we've got a bunch of questions. I see here right off the bat, there's been some issues with the audio and with the picture. Again, we did record this. We will be emailing it out and posting it to the partner portal. So I apologize for that. Must be a connection issue. But all the recording on our end should be crystal clear with good audio and good video. So please be sure to check back for that. Rick asks, says the template's very cool. Thanks, Rick. We got a couple here. All right.
And can we merge templates with metadata for populating information from an outside source CSV file or due to dropdown that allows custom fields to use and populate the similar code throughout the site, i.e. address, phone number, company name? That is a good idea. Right now, the template feature does not include the ability to populate fields using a CSV, but the templates feature is brand new. So we'll definitely take your feedback into consideration there and look at it.
But that also sounds like a perfect use case for someone using the content library to upload specific content and then applying it across the template, which can be done using a CSV from what I recall.
I think so, yeah.
And the content collection form.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Again, guys, apologize for the problems with the audio and video. We will send this recording out. Rick's asking about a holiday special. We don't have any site specials coming up for the holidays, but we do have some more tools coming out for you guys real soon. I think you'll be really happy with what comes out.
Lisa's asking, on the e-commerce shopping cart template, the homepage shows new arrivals, but it looks like it only shows the first 3 products in alphabetical order. There's no way to sort the products to indicate which ones are the new arrivals. Interesting. I don't have an answer for that off the top of my head.
No, I don't either. I would assume that the elements in the front page would just be linked back and that they'd be completely customizable based on what you wanted them to be and where you wanted them to link. I don't think there's any auto population going on there. Let me take a look here. We'll just pull the template up and see exactly what's happening.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check it out.
Okay, so here we have the Scarlet Shop.
So we got new arrivals down in the bottom. Oh, there's just an individual product.
Interesting. So this is main. This must be a setting within the store. You know what? Let us go take a look with the dev team on this and figure out exactly what's happening, and we'll see if we can post something to Facebook. Sound good, Cody?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Will asks, will the header changes be coming to mobile optimized sites? The header changes, header's a very tricky spot. The header changes we're offering now are for desktop and tablet. They will not apply to the mobile view in this case. If you're talking about from a Doodle, for Doodle 1, if you're talking about Doodle mobile, the header there is already pretty customizable in terms of what you're able to put in there. So if there's specific functionality we don't have, let us know. We'll see if we can take a look.
Yeah, I mean, on mobile, the header is already pretty. Yeah, it's pretty condensed. There's not much we're going to do with it.
Yep.
Let's see. Karen, you're asking how many rows can you add to the header? Unlimited would be my guess. I'm not aware of a hard limit. I think it's more of a practical limit. I mean, if you continue to add rows, or that becomes too cumbersome to use. I mean,
that would redefine below the fold.
Yeah.
If you had 15 different rows in the header, it might be a problem. But no, as you saw, we were able to add multiple rows as we were going through the development.
William, I think this is awesome. I think you are awesome, William.
Thank you so much. Heidi asks, will the new flexible header be available on existing sites or only on creation of a new site? And is the height now adjustable in tablet?
As far as I know, it should be available on all existing Doodle 1 sites. It's just it's a setting within the editor, so it should be available to you now on all of your current sites. And is the height now adjustable in tablet?
Well, in this case, we've chosen not. This particular template doesn't do that. Let's see if we can. This could be a bit tricky. Let's see what happens. We'll go in here into navigation, and we'll move our tablet back to the similar navigation as desktop. And here we can see we have put the tablet navigation in. And header, we would be able to, under header section, we should be able to, I'm sorry, it would be under row. Edit the row and change the padding and settings around that row. So we should be able to, if you need to change height, adjust that here.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Karen, that's how many rows? I think that's it. We have that many. Can you duplicate the navigation?
I haven't tried that. Let's try it out.
Oops, I actually went to the link. Let's go back to our home page here. So yeah, that would be interesting. Duplicate the navigation and put it in the footer as well.
I believe you can. It is a standard element, so if you open the drop-down menu, you should be able to copy it and paste it somewhere else, and you can. Element was copied, and then you should be able to paste it and add it to like the footer or somewhere else on the page. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to paste directly in the footer, but if we didn't, there it is.
Yep. So now the navigation menu is in the footer too. Pretty cool.
Right. Mark asked the same question. Can we duplicate it in the footer? We just proved it. Karen asks, so is it in a few different rows? So yes, it is in a few different rows.
Yeah, so the header is now just a normal row, or kind of like a section that does have several different rows. So it's probably best not to think of it as a single row, because then there's rows within rows, and then your head's going to spin. But it is the top section of your site, and you can add a few rows in there to make it look how you want. Like Kemp's got a few different rows going on here, so it organizes elements, and it looks very nice, and you can do the same thing.
Yep. All right. Yes, Lisa asked again about top and bottom navigation. We do have that. Sherry asks, will the client also have a manage store button if they will be managing on their own?
It's my understanding that will be the new manage store button will be used in the permissions and white label features. It hasn't been.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. Coming up at the end of the year, we're going to be doing a significant update to roles and permissions. This will allow anyone with a Duda Pro account to create different tiered access points, like for salespeople, for designers, and for your customers, and will allow you to control a lot of the different elements they see, giving you even more control over the platform itself. Stay tuned. I think that's probably going to be end of December when we get that ready.
Sure. William's asking, it would be great if we could add our own graphics to an insight. Will this be possible, or at least request something that we need? So if you're talking about like the decorations that we have, like the leaves, or the bats, or the fireworks, those are actually not just simple graphics. They're like scalable graphics put together with JavaScript and CSS and all sorts of good stuff. So they're not as simple to create as it looks. So it's
right.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just the insight itself, all of the insights that are row generated, you can incorporate any imagery you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Karen asked, are there any plans to include an events calendar to the elements? Good question. This is one we've researched a few times. There's no real leader in the calendar space right at this point. We've talked to a couple of different vendors about this. Right now, if you find a vendor you particularly like, let us know. We can definitely take a look. Otherwise, use the HTML widget and embed a calendar that way. We really think that's probably the best. Allow you to have the choice of whichever calendar provider you want to use, and then incorporate them into your site that way.
Yeah, that's probably the best advice. Daryl, you're asking, we showed us the flexible header in the edit view, but we didn't show it in the preview. Show it in the preview mode. Okay. No biggie. Let's go ahead and click preview. And now you can see the flexible header. And you're not really going to see much in the preview mode because it is just the header of the site. So you're not going to see any of the editing options inside of here. But you can see it looks nice inside of the preview.
Lisa asks, you've made some adjustments to the HTML element that's broken existing elements on live sites. You have a ticket in. Curious what the thought is making changes. This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Generally, each release is tested to make sure it shouldn't cause any backward compatibility issues.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a ticket open, wait to hear from support. I know it'll go straight to the product team and they'll take a look into this.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth, glad the audio video is working for you. Karen asks, can you change the size and scale of the social icons? Right now, you could either use the ones that are default or the ones that are here. They do not include scaling for the social icons at this time. And it's a feature request I've put in a couple times. It's just it's coming hopefully in the next couple of releases. We got grammar correction. Thank you, Kenneth. Sorry for that.
Where does that show up?
On site, no such as reoccur. Oh, for the insights, no such as reoccur.
Correct as recur. Brilliant feedback, Kenneth. I love it.
We'll get our copywriter on that. Now we get to burn him. Seon-Young Kim, thank you. We're happy to update the font list too. Michelle, can we export CSS to clients that want to leave our service and take their site elsewhere? Actually, at this time, no. The sites are tied to the platform. It's part of our business model, and it's part of how we do things like Insight and dynamic serving across multiple devices and how we're able to provide these advanced services. The page HTML, if you wanted to take it, could be copied and put somewhere else. Whether or not you won't have full functionality, though, built into it that way. There's just
Yeah, I mean, there's attributes within the code on all the elements that tie it into the Duda editor, which is how Duda is able to work with it. And unfortunately, you can take, and we give you the code. I mean, you can click on the dev mode right here, and you can open this up, and it'll show you a little help article at first, but we don't hide the code from you. It's all right here, and you can go through, and you can, here's the CSS, here's the HTML. You can copy this out of here. But it's just not going to work the same when you put it somewhere else, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. To be clear, all of our output is HTML5 and CSS3, so it works across browser, but the actual code that generates and manages the site is what's tied to our platform. Roger asks, says he loves the header editing. Great, Roger. How do I change the text height within the shopping cart, especially the title and price within the items in my cart? Cody, do you know if that's adjustable yet?
The text height within the shopping cart. I don't believe that it is, actually. That's kind of standard for all products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Julio asked, do you have a time frame for multi-languages? There's two questions here, I guess I could answer. One is, do we have a time frame for offering multi-language sites or sites that are in more than one language? Right now, no. It's not on our short-term roadmap, and our short-term roadmap's really through the end of the year and into the beginning of next. We do try to keep that roadmap very flexible so that we can adjust as we see demand. But right now, the demand for multilingual sites has not been we haven't had a huge pull for it. When it comes to localization of the editor, we do have some news there. We will have German available very soon if you have German customers that want to use our tools. And we'll have additional languages coming in the near future. Heidi, thank you very much. Mark asks, is it possible to get access to some of the CSS files used Duda where we can make changes? I think we just showed you that.
Yep.
That is the dev mode, here, where we do have each page HTML and CSS. The other places you can go to access source code is within the div editor itself. We do have, okay, close. We do have for individual elements now. If we hover over this element, we do have HTML edit capabilities under edit design. And here, anytime you see this more tab, that will generally include padding, CSS, and HTML. So take a look. You do have access to the source code in most instances.
Roger's saying I can change the category, title, and price of the items, but not within the cart. I'm not sure what the question is here. You can change the category, title, and price of the items, but the product isn't going to change categories once it's in the cart. So it's just going to stay in the same category the whole time.
Seon Kim's asking, could you insert an image in the navigation title and provide an example, and then if you hover over, image color changes too? We don't have hover effects into the platform yet. Without looking at the site, because we do a lot of questions to go through, we can edit background, we can change color schemes, we can put all of that back here if we wanted to. That capabilities do exist, and it does operate just like a row.
Mm-hmm.
William says, nice. Well, we think you're nice, William. Thank you.
Let's see, Bill's asking, how about creating responsive sites from original sites that do have databases? It depends on what that database is doing. So if you're using it for any sort of, complex form or login or something like that, or searching of the database, we're just not going to be able to support that on Duda. We don't support databases on Duda 1. You're not going to be able to port that database over, unfortunately. But if it is the sort of database site like a WordPress site where it's just content that's stored in a database, you can bring that content over.
So William has updated his request earlier about customizing Insight animations, I believe here, and he has a client requesting puppy paws walking across the screen. We have had some discussions about how we might be able to customize that animation. It's still a ways out, so sorry I don't have an immediate answer for you now. The dev team does watch these webinars, though, so they'll see exactly what you're asking.
Sounds adorable, though. Puppy paws. When does the promotions tab become available at the 100 product point or the 2500 product point? What are the benefits of the promotional tab? We actually have, I don't remember off the top of my head, but we do have, if you go to support.dudamobile.com, we do have a table which actually lists out all the features. So let's go to e-commerce features. Type that in here. So we can go to e-commerce features per plan. Then we can see just a list of which features are included with which store. Options.
I think it's the coupons would be under promotions, right?
Yeah, it's the coupons, and so that does come at the 2,500 product store level. So
it's a pretty well featured storefront for what's it cost, $35 a month for a partner, or somewhere in that range. I mean, from a revenue standpoint, if you're up to that scale, you should be able to hopefully generating a nice return on a store that size. Adam asked, any plans to make a user login area? Lots of my clients want password protected pages, just something you can do to offer some content. It is a feature that gets included in our roadmap in terms of discussions. It's, again, not one that we have in the near term that I'm aware of. I think that the biggest thing you're going to notice, and I can give a quick glimpse into the roadmap, next month is a polish sprint. Next month, it's this month, November. Mm-hmm. Our dev team is only working on two things. One of them is that permissions tool we mentioned earlier, and the second is fixing bugs, cleaning up the editor, improving the performance, making sure things like drag and drop work exactly the way you want. And so for the next 30 days, we're going to be doing that. And then the December sprint will include, again, that permissions functionality and probably some more stuff. I can't commit to just yet what's going to be there, but we do have some exciting things coming, some tighter integrations with Insights, some tighter integrations with commerce, things along those lines.
It ties in right into what Mark was saying about using Google PageSpeed Insights. Is there a way to improve our speed load time? Some things are delaying CSS loads, etc. I would expect all of this to be improved after the polish sprint.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something that the team looks at doing. In fact, I forgot to mention, in this latest release, we've actually cleaned up the number of REST calls we make within the editor, making the editing experience faster. We typically try to remove redundant CSS and things like that. So I would expect all that to come out in the next sprint as well.
Got a question here from Steve. Any plans for SSL? I have family practices that are interested but need SSL. Yes, it's, again, one of the things that makes it to the discussion board. We know Google's announced that it's one of their initiatives they're pushing for coming up. It will not penalize sites that are not SSL enabled right off the bat, but we will be adding that hopefully in the next 6 months.
Steve says, great stuff, guys. Any thoughts adding more features to these sub-navigation elements?
Such as? That's going to be my question. Do you want sub navigation, or if you want to ping us either through the questions box, or if you want to email either one of us, you can get Cody at dudamobile.com or Kemp at dudamobile.com. We might be able to answer that question a little better. Karen states, I've tried changing the size of text within a paragraph, but it doesn't allow. Also tried making some words bold. Is this possible?
Absolutely, that both of those are possible from within the editor. I'm wondering if there's a different context here that we're not understanding, but definitely changing text size and bolding text are both possible inside the editor. So Kemp's bolding it right now, and should be able to select a word and just choose a different size for it. Let's increase it. So both of those are available within the text editor. If you're working in a specific constrained element, like you're using like the list element or something, you may not be able to individually adjust certain text pieces size or boldness, but we'll need more information if that's the case.
Heidi thanks us for all of this, especially the new fonts, the default on the image library, and the header freedom. You're welcome, Heidi. We do listen to you guys. I hope you guys understand that. Mm-hmm. We always walk a balance between the new features we want to bring and the new features you guys are requesting. So we do try to keep a pretty good balance there between the two, and so hope you like what we have coming up soon.
Daryl's asking, in a previous webinar, you mentioned that the e-commerce templates weren't search engine friendly. Are you working on making the e-commerce templates search engine friendly? And if so, when? Yes, we definitely are. This is something that we've been working on. Our product team's been looking at, and I would expect this to come within the next
Q1.
Yeah.
Q1, yeah. For sure. So beginning of next year. Chris, any ideas when the blog feature will be coming soon on customers' demand? I'm pushing for Q1. I haven't gotten a commitment yet. I know it's a really needed one. We will hopefully have an update on that within the next month or so, but I don't have a strong date here yet. Seon-Young Kim asked, in the stats summary you get in weekly emails, could you include insight summary as well? Or give the customer access to a stats page only without site? The answer to that question is no right now in terms of in the email, but yes, with the permissions that we'll launch again by the end of the year, you will be able to give customers access to a stats only page and they'll have full access to everything.
Michelle is asking, thinks that makes sense. Logo rules, for example, Twitter or social icons are not respected. Is there a way that we could upload icons?
Well, we don't have necessarily within that social icons tool the ability for you to add your own, but if you wanted to create your own images and upload them to the site with your own links to social media platforms, that's completely up to you.
You can totally do that, yeah. Kevin's asking, is there a sitemap? You bet there's a sitemap. You can go to yourdomain.com, and I think it's sitemap.xml, just /sitemap.xml, and you can view your sitemap.
Mm-hmm. Will brings up a competitor of ours that supports advanced parallax scrolling control for objects and backgrounds. Is that in the works? We'll throw this over to the product team. I have not heard of that as a near-term request or a feature that we have too much demand for. In fact, this is the first I've heard of it, so we'll take a look. Newman, I want an anchor link. Newman, you'll be happy very soon. You can go into the source code and apply anchor links if you choose to.
Sure.
We'll be adding that functionality to the platform very soon.
Any thoughts of bringing RTMP to the video player insight feature, maybe?
I'm not familiar with RTMP. Are you? Not off that. David, if you want to email us or ask the question again, hopefully we can help you out with that. Roger, when I hide a slider in the mobile version and add another slider for mobile only, do I have two working sliders on the mobile dragging down the performance? No. Do we need to go any further? No. When you hide elements from mobile, they are not part of that page. When we get the call from the mobile device, mobile user agent, we don't send down a hidden version and the full version. We only send down the version that you've asked us to show.
This is actually one of the benefits of Duda One, since we are responsive with server-side support, unlike traditional responsive only, where you'd load all that code and everything anyway. We just take it out. We don't load the code that you're not going to use, so it makes our sites faster than responsive alone.
Yep. Heidi brought up that occasionally there are problems with text editing within the product. We know we are working to enhance that. Actually, we've got some enhancements coming up in the next sprint as well that will address some of these issues. Karen R., thank you very much. Karen D., thank you as well. Heidi, so must be a bug. I've had to resort to highlighting half a sentence at a time to change this way. Yeah, I've been using the text editor. I know there were issues before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely, we know that, and we addressed that with some enhancements. Recently, I have not been running into many or any of those issues we had before.
Heidi, I'd also encourage you. I don't know which web browser you're using, but if you're using, I'd recommend using something like Chrome or Firefox or more recent version of Internet Explorer if you're not already. But if it's something simple like that, definitely I'll let you know.
Okay, David, who was asking before, I believe about RTMP, maybe embed Flow Player. Send us more information on this, David. Let us. We can definitely start a conversation on it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, David, if you're looking for different media players, you can embed them using our HTML feature. So if you have like embed code, you can absolutely just add those in. If there's something unique to Flow Player or RTMP that we really need to integrate with it, or be of an advantage, please let us know and send us that feedback. We'd love to hear it. Karen R says the other Karen wants to add.
That must be Karen D.
Are you guys like hanging out together? Is that what's going on? It's sometimes the paragraph bolding. I think we already covered that. Sometimes it doesn't work, and we're gonna look into that. Sunny and Kim, that's awesome. Giving access to the stats page only will be very helpful. Thanks. Thank you, Newman.
Sian Young Kim also asks here, in terms of sub-navigation pages, is there a way to create a page with no content but a list of several sub-pages under so that when you navigate to the page, it will not open but shows the drop-down? So I think what you're saying is if there was a drop-down here under contact for about, email, address, but then there would be no page under contact is what you're saying. It would actually force that. There's not a way to do that I'm aware of at this point. You would need to create a contact page with a simple, add the 3 or 4 subpages or 7 or 8 or whatever it is you'd want on there. But I don't think there's a way to create something in the navigation that doesn't link to a page at this time.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does need to be a valid link in order for it to be inside of there.
Heidi asks, can you define what server-side support means? So, you want to?
Oh, yeah, sure. Server-side support just talks about where the code is executed. So what that means is that the code determining what content is displayed actually gets executed before it's sent to the end user's browser. So what that means is when the request is made for the page, Duda's server says, hey, this is for a tablet or this is for a mobile device. Okay, cool, this is a mobile device. We don't need to send these elements that have been hidden. We will show them this code, which is what you've decided you want to show to mobile phones, and it will send only that code over so that all the unused elements don't actually get downloaded into the end user's browser.
It's also how we tailor the navigation by device, hide and remove content. What does this mean in terms of responsive? Well, responsive typically is just taking the same template and adjusting it based on the width of the screen. With our server controls, we're able to not only do that, but also add an extra layer of customization by device. Our products are still responsive. It's still the same code set, same URL, same everything else. This is just responsive with a little extra oomph to it that lets you still get the benefits of having a tailored experience by device while at the same time still remaining responsive, which we all know Google loves. Heidi also asked about mentioned her browser both updated. Yeah, let's. I know this is we'll figure out the text editing issue, see if we can address it. Karen, as a question of Cody.
Cody, how did you word that about our mobile and 2 to 1 versus responsive versus other responsives? Yeah, so basically, I think Heidi was asking about server side. The opposite of server side is what's called client side, and that means the code is executed inside the browser. And so inside the end user's browser. And that's what you get with traditional responsive, because that person's downloading all the HTML, all the JavaScript, all the CSS, and then once it's loaded in their browser, the browser then uses that JavaScript to figure out how big that browser is and then where to position everything. And all that execution is happening inside the browser. With Duda, we actually take it a step further. We still do some of that, but we also have the server-side support, which detects what the device is before it's downloaded so that we can make those changes ahead of time. I hope that makes it clearer for you.
William says, one thing we could do if mobile header was customizable in D1 is be able to add a clickable phone and map image. This won't use a lot of space. Is it possible to add this feature? So some tailored for the mobile version. I know we already do some isolated changes for mobile, but if you wanted to do a click-to-call, a click-to-map feature here in the mobile version just for here, it'd be tricky. I'm not sure what that would look like.
Yeah, I mean, you could add a row to the top of that page, but it's definitely not going to be inside the header. I mean, you could add something in there. You could use an image for it, but the problem when you use an image is that an image, it's a static size, right? And it's going to, not necessarily be the right size for all mobile devices. So if you use something like one of our buttons that uses like text fonts, which are scalable, you're going to have a better option maybe than using a static image for something like that.
We got a couple more questions here, and I think we're going to wrap things up, guys. So, William, we did that one. Heidi, you're welcome for the explanation. Karen just said, Karen asked about the header controls. This is a preview that's going to be available next week in the editor. We'll post to Facebook once that's made available to you. So you will not be able to change the header into rows until next week.
Correct.
And Karen says, yes, it does. All right. One last question here from David regarding the WordPress plugin for Duda API. We did not build the WordPress plugin for the API. That was done by one of our developers. So when I say developers, one of our partners who did that. I've forgotten his name right now off the top of my head. You can interact with him directly on the Facebook page, or I believe his contact information should be on the plugin page on WordPress. We do not have plans to do a similar product on our own, but we do encourage the creativity of our partner base to go out there and do that for us. So thank you, guys. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up.
Bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom. Bye, everybody else. Thanks for joining us. Please do remember to check to join our webinar next Thursday, where we'll have the Insight example.
You sent out an email about it earlier today.
I did send an email out today. I sent out about 3,000 times. I sent an email today.
Well, thank you guys all for coming.
We appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.